Most of us have dealt with credit card debt in one way or another. Maybe a little bit of debt, maybe some really significant debt that has taken a long time to pay off your credit card bill. Maybe you're still dealing with that. I know it's something I've certainly dealt with in my adult life. So, talking to your children about how to use a credit card and how to use it in a way that's smart and isn't going to get them into debt is a great topic to talk with your kids about. I'm joined now by Bill Codier. He's with Junior Achievement here in our area. Bill, thanks so much for being here today to talk about this.
Thank you for having me. It's exciting to be here.
And when we got the email about this, I was really interested in having you on the show because I think this is so important. I know when I was growing up, credit card education was not something that I received. And then, in my young 20s, I got into some credit card debt because I, wasn't being the most financially savvy. So at Junior Achievement, you guys are working to educate students on this topic. First, can you introduce me a little bit about what Junior Achievement is here in our area?
Certainly, Junior Achievement's been here in West Michigan since 1956. And we teach kids about financial literacy, working career readiness, and entrepreneurship. And our sweet spot is K through 12. Mm-hmm. So we have programs that engage the students, and we bring in volunteers from the business community who actually use their life skills, their business background to share with the students. And that whole financial literacy piece, we start teaching kids as early as, you ready for this? Kindergarten.
Wow.
And we start with needs and wants.
Yeah.
And it's
that's what it comes down to, really.
It does. It does. And even, and then as time goes on, we're adding things about, immediate gratification. So sometimes a student will say, look, these shoes or these jeans are on sale.
Yeah.
and they charge them, but then they don't make the full payment. So by the time they pay it off, they've actually paid more than had they waited a week or two when they get their paycheck and even paid full price for it. So we really are teaching the kids, how to make good choices, how to understand first how to save, pay yourself first, and then when you have to start looking at credit cards, we want the students to understand that they're a effective tool, but they're just a tool, and you really have to understand the implication.
Yeah, absolutely. All good things to keep in mind. And I know it could be shocking to parents at home, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to start talking to my kindergartner about, using a credit card. Not quite, like, you were introducing sort of the topics that surround it. This all comes as it's National Credit Education Month, which I know you're very passionate about. Why start talking to your kids so early about this? What's the benefit down the line?
Sure. So the benefit is really sequential learning. And really anything is so critical. So, you take things in little bits and pieces and you keep building on it.
Right.
Enables the students to really take that knowledge, internalize it, and then as they're out in the community with their parents, grandparents, etc., they're seeing how business and economics works, and they're looking at, especially today, teaching kids how to be savvy shoppers.
Yeah.
And parents are looking at things like, do I buy store brand? Do I buy name brand?
Right.
How can I stretch my dollars?
Yeah.
And so we're just trying to show the kids credit is a good thing if you manage it well. And what a lot of times as the kids build through, when they get to that middle school and high school, we start talking to the students about your credit impacts what you pay for car insurance. So it really impacts a lot of things that kids don't necessarily think about.
Realize at the time. Yeah.
Exactly. Or at that point when they want to get their first home or their first car. All of those things play a role.
Right.
And so at Junior Achievement, we try to create hands-on activities and engagement that enables the students to relate what they're learning in school to the world outside the classroom. So we're helping teachers teach what they need to teach the students, but we're doing it in a more hands-on approach. And most recently, we just opened up 2 new programs at the Huizenga Family JA Free Enterprise Center J.A. Biztown, which is for 4th through 6th graders.
Yeah.
And it's an actual town.
This is so cool. We were chatting about this before, and this is really neat.
It's unbelievable. The kids, you know, they prep at school, taught by their teacher. They apply for a job, and they show up at J.A. Biztown. They get a checkbook, a debit card. They have a position. They get paid twice. They're consumers. They learn how to balance their checkbook. Right, at 4th, 5th, and 6th grade.
Learning that then and making the mistakes then when it's not real money at the time.
Exactly. But in J.A. Biztown, the money they earn, I mean, they can buy products and services in that. And the businesses they work for there, their goal at the end of the day is to pay back their startup loan with the bank in J.A. Biztown.
Great lessons there.
So it's fantastic. And then for our middle school and high school students, we have J.A. Finance Park, which looks like a shopping mall, but every mall store is a life decision. Housing, transportation, utilities, groceries, et cetera.
Big adult decisions.
Big adult decisions. And what's really cool about it is, first off, it's very technology driven. So when the kids are going through the experience, I have a daughter, 3 grandchildren. Bottom line is when she was growing up, and you'd say, okay, you shouldn't be doing this. Don't tell me what to do, right? And kids will get caught up in that rather than the decision that was made. Because this is gamified, they make a bad decision, they correct it. So a good example is they have to make a transportation decision. And of course, there's always going to be some student that's going to get a little red 2-seater sports car, and it'll blow up, and and their iPad will say, "Wait a minute, you have a 4-year-old and a 3-year-old. There's no room for car seats," so they have to make another decision.
Very real life impactful.
They start with a credit score, and their goal is to learn how to keep that credit score as high as possible. And at lunchtime, when the kids are having lunch, our volunteers and staff are walking around, and kids are talking about their credit score.
I love
so
that.
it really brings it to the forefront.
Yeah.
They're having fun, but at the same time, they're learning.
They're learning, which is most important.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And I know folks can find much more information online, but this is a program primarily through schools all across the state, but you guys also do summer camps to walk through a lot of these activities you've been talking about.
We do. J.A. Biztown Summer Camp. We're going to be doing our first week of summer camp this year. We've had students who have gone through the experience that said, I want to come back.
Yeah.
And then we've had some school kids from schools that are not yet signed up that said, how can my child participate? And so we're going to offer it 1 week this year, and then the goal is to grow it to 2 or 3 weeks each summer.
In the future, very cool. I so appreciate you walking us through this. I think this is so neat and fascinating, and if every kid in Michigan could get a taste of this, I think it would be so helpful. I really appreciate you joining us here on Evening Plus, and again, more information about everything you guys do at Junior Achievement can be found online. Thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Have a wonderful night.
I want you to take a quick look here, folks, at some additional information as well from the Attorney General's office, if we have that graphic here. This is obviously for adults who already have a credit card, but the Attorney General here in Michigan is reminding all of us that you can get free weekly credit reports, a lot like the lessons kids are learning now. We can take advantage of as adults. Those are through those 3 companies that you see there. This can all be found on the annual credit reports website. Those are trusted sites per the Attorney General's office. You want to watch out using any other sites because things could happen if you're putting in your personal information. So those 3 sites and information on them can all be found on that annual credit report website. It's really easy to find online. We are